Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we'll be diving into a story that sits right at the chilling intersection of the unexplained and the everyday world of healthcare. It's a tale that reportedly unfolded in a hospital, a place of healing that, for a few terrifying nights, became a source of pure dread. The story goes that an entire night shift nursing staff walked out, never to return. The reason? Security footage that showed something impossible. Empty hospital beds, appearing to breathe. Let's set the scene. Imagine a quiet hospital ward late at night. The usual hum of daytime activity is faded, replaced by the soft beeping of monitors, the gentle whir of ventilators, and the hushed footsteps of the night shift nurses making their rounds. These nurses are the guardians of the night, accustomed to the strange sounds and shadows of a sleeping hospital. They're professionals, trained to handle high-stress situations with calm and logic. They've seen it all, or so they thought. The story begins on a Tuesday night in what was described as a transitional care unit. This is a ward where patients recover after major surgeries or serious illnesses. It's a place of hope, but also one that sees its share of sorrow. One of the nurses, let's call her Clara, was finishing her rounds. As she passed an empty room, room 308, she noticed something odd out of the corner of her eye. The bed was empty, freshly made, waiting for a new patient in the morning. Yet, for a split second, she could have sworn she saw the blankets rise and fall, as if someone were taking a slow, deep breath underneath. She stopped, peered into the room, and saw nothing but a still, empty bed. Shaking her head, she dismissed it. Night shifts play tricks on your eyes. Fatigue, low lighting, and the constant, low-level stress can make you see things. She mentioned it casually to another nurse, who laughed it off, saying she probably needed another cup of coffee. Clara agreed and tried to forget about it. But the next night, it happened again. This time, another nurse, we'll call him Ben, was charting at the central nursing station. The station had a bank of monitors displaying feeds from various security cameras in the hallways and common areas. One small screen showed the hallway outside room 308. As he glanced up, he saw what Clara had described. The door to room 38 was ajar, and through the gap, he could clearly see the bed. The duvet was moving. A slow, rhythmic rise and fall. It was unmistakable. He blinked, rubbing his eyes. He zoomed in on the feed. The image was a bit grainy, but the movement was undeniable. It looked exactly like a person breathing in their sleep. But the room was empty. It was. The patient in that room had been discharged that morning. He called Clara over to the monitor, his voice a little shaky. "You need to see this." Clara's face went pale as she watched the screen. It was exactly what she had seen the night before. This wasn't just a trick of the light. They were both seeing it. A cold feeling spread through the ward. They decided to check the room together. Mustering their courage, they walked down the quiet hall, their rubber-soled shoes making soft squeaking sounds on the polished floor. Pushing the door open, they flipped on the light. The bed was perfectly still, the blankets undisturbed. The movement had stopped the moment they entered. They checked under the bed, in the closet, and in the bathroom. Nothing. The room was completely empty. As they stood there in the brightly lit room, a wave of confusion and fear washed over them. What was going on? They returned to the nursing station, their minds racing. Was it a draft? A problem with the ventilation system? They tried to find a logical explanation, but nothing seemed to fit the slow, deliberate rhythm of the movement they had witnessed. The third night was when things escalated from strange to terrifying. Now, the entire night shift staff of 5 nurses and 2 aides knew about the breathing bed in room 308. Some were skeptical, others were nervous. They decided to watch the monitor for that room closely. Around those a.m., the witching hour, it started again. The slow, steady rise and fall of the blankets on the empty bed. This time, several of them saw it on the monitor. A collective gasp went through the group. One of the aides, a young woman on one of her first assignments, started to cry softly. The charge nurse, a seasoned veteran named Maria, tried to maintain order. "All right, let's be rational," she said, her voice firm but with a slight tremor. "There has to be an explanation." But then, something else happened. The bed in the room next door, room 310, which was also empty, started to do the same thing. Now, on 2 separate monitors, they could see 2 empty beds in 2 different rooms, breathing in perfect unison. It was as if invisible entities were sleeping in the beds, their chests rising and falling in a synchronized, ghostly rhythm. That's when the professional.com of the nursing staff finally broke. This was beyond a draft or a faulty vent. It was coordinated. It was purposeful. The atmosphere on the ward turned from one of quiet efficiency to one of thick, palpable fear. No one wanted to walk the hallways alone. Every shadow seemed to move, and every normal hospital sound became a source of alarm. The call bells from occupied rooms made them jump. Maria, the charge nurse, knew she had to do something. She called hospital security. A security guard came up to the floor, listened to their story with a skeptical look, and went to inspect the rooms. Just like the nurses, he found nothing. When he returned, he suggested it was probably an air current from the HVC system, a common explanation for seemingly paranormal events. But the nurses weren't convinced. An air current wouldn't create such a lifelike, synchronized breathing motion in 2 separate rooms. The guard offered to watch the monitors with them. For almost an hour, nothing happened. The guard was just about to declare it a false alarm when, on the screen, the blanket in room 308 twitched violently, as if the unseen sleeper had been startled. Then, it settled back into its slow, rhythmic breathing. The security guard's face lost all its color. He had seen it too. He just stared at the monitor, speechless. This was the breaking point. The nurses felt a profound sense of dread, as if they were not welcome, as if they were intruding on something they couldn't see or understand. It wasn't just a spooky phenomenon anymore. It felt like a presence, a lingering energy in the very fabric of the ward. They felt watched. The job of caring for their living, breathing patients became almost impossible, overshadowed by the fear of the unseen entities in the empty rooms. Maria gathered her team at the nursing station. Their faces were etched with fear and exhaustion. "I can't ask you to work like this," she said, her voice heavy. "I can't work like this. This isn't safe. Our focus is compromised." They made a collective decision. They finished their essential rounds for their current patients, wrote up their notes with trembling hands, and then, as a group, they walked down to the hospital administrator's on-call office. In the middle of the night, they tendered their resignations. All of them. The entire night shift. They explained what they had seen, what they had all witnessed on the security monitors. They knew how it sounded. They knew people would think they were crazy, but they didn't care. They refused to spend another minute on that ward. The hospital administration was thrown into chaos. Finding an entirely new night shift staff for a specialized unit on such short notice was a logistical nightmare. In the days that followed, the story leaked out. Some hospital staff whispered about the ghost ward. Others dismissed it as mass hysteria. A story concocted by an overworked and stressed out team. The official explanation from the hospital, if you could even call it that, was a non-statement about unforeseen staffing issues. They never publicly acknowledged the nurse's story, the security footage from those nights. It reportedly disappeared or was recorded over, a convenient way to erase any evidence. So, what do we make of this incredible story? Is it a modern-day ghost story? A folktale born from the high-stress environment of a hospital? Or did a group of dedicated medical professionals witness something truly unexplainable? Something so terrifying that they were willing to abandon their careers to escape it? Hospitals are places of intense emotion. They witness the joy of birth, the pain of illness, and the finality of death. Could it be that strong residual energy, sometimes called a place memory, can linger and manifest in physical ways? The idea of an imprint of a former patient, their life force so strong that it continues a basic biological function like breathing, is a fascinating and unsettling thought, whatever the truth may be. The story of the breathing beds serves as a chilling reminder that there may be more to our world than what we can see and explain. For the nurses who walked out that night, the memory of those rising and falling blankets on empty beds will likely haunt them forever. They chose their peace of mind over their profession, a decision that speaks volumes about the terror they must have felt. What do you think happened? Have you ever heard a similar story or had a strange experience in a hospital? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Stay safe, and see you in the next video.